Hubby bought me a new microphone, so hopefully we'll have better sound quality, but the way it clips on and everything looks awkward. It also had a big sound protector thing on it that I took off because that looked even more awkward. So let's see how this goes. Hi, Jenny here. Halloween is right around the corner, and as promised in a previous video, today we are going to make a Halloween friendship bracelet. In previous videos, I have made the diagonal stripe bracelet and a chevron bracelet. Those were about level 1s. And now we're going to make a pumpkin bracelet, and that's taken us up to a difficulty of level 5. So don't get too discouraged. Stick with it. Keep with me. We'll go slowly. We have 12 strands in this one. The other bracelets we've done have 8. So it's going to take some time. There are about 14 steps for each little pumpkin. Just make sure that you have enough room that you can spread out, so we can spread the strings out a little bit and make sure that we kind of keep them in the areas that they need to be to do our little pattern. So with that, let's get started. Supplies needed will be some masking tape to tape down our bracelet, our threads obviously. So for this one we're going to use some green, orange, and black, a pin in case we get any knots, a tape measure to measure out our thread, and a scissors to cut the thread. The directions for this bracelet call for 6 black strings, so we're going to do 3 of them measured out and double them over. 5 orange strings, so we'll have 2 of them long, and we're going to have 1 single, and 1 green strand. So I'm going to measure out the long ones to the 60 inches. I already have those cut. And then our 2 single strands, I'm going to cut those at 34 inches so that we still have room after folding them in half to be able to make our loop at the end. Good, let me stand in my light. And then I also have them going black, orange, because that's how it goes in the pattern. And sometimes it's just a little easier when you tie the loop that these strings kind of stay closer together. So we're doing it at 30, pinch, fold, and then we'll make our loop. Alright, now we're going to make our knot. It's pretty much the hardest part of the bracelet. We have our 2 short ends here, so we want to make sure that we get those included in our knot. This is where we pinched it at our 30-inch mark. So I'm going to twist my hand around, make a small little loop. One end through the other. And we'll tighten it up. You don't need that big of a loop because all it's going to be for is tying your bracelet at the end when it's on your wrist. So there you go. And now, with these 2 shorter ends, we're not going to need those, so we can cut those threads off. Alright, whichever side the green is closer to, you want to put that one off to your right hand side. The green pretty much just stays on that one side of the pattern. So then we're going to tape it down so it doesn't move. And now separate out your strings, making sure again the green is on the one side, and then we're just going to alternate black, orange, black, orange. I painted my nails all cute for this. Isn't that nice? It's a winter here though, so I got a couple dry spots on my skin. They're okay. They turned out pretty cute. So we're going to start from the left and move our way to the right for every row. And it's going to get easier, I promise, as you keep doing this. It's going to start off difficult. We went from an easy bracelet to a difficult one here. So for what I'm doing right now, off to the side, I have my pattern. I take my ruler and I'm going to go row by row. So we're going to do row 1 here first, which is telling me that I'm going to use all my dark strings. So all the black ones are going to be the ones that I have my knot on top, my string on top, because that's the knot that's going to show that color, and the type of knot that I'm doing. So these are going to be forward, backward knots. So I'll show you those. And then when we get down to row 2, I'll move my ruler. So that's why it's good to have an actual printed pattern. You can go through again. We'll see we're going to have our two most outer strings are going to be left out. We're not going to use those. And then I'm going to have my black string on top and then my orange string on top. And we're going to keep going down and we'll go from there. So first row was all with the dark strings on top. And that kind of gives you a hint too when you're looking at that circle and knowing that they're all dark, you know which string pretty much you're going to be doing your knots with. So even if you kind of forget forward, backward, you'll remember, oh yeah, that's the string that's on top. So we are going forward and then backward because each string also has 2 knots to it. So that means we're going to make a 4 with our black string over our orange. Tuck that under. Pull it through. Take that one, pull it up. And now a backward knot. So we're going to make a backwards 4 over our orange string. Tuck it under. Through and pull it up, and that gets your black string back over to the outside and our orange string. Now we're going to deal with the next set of strings, so we leave those 2 aside, and again our dark ones are going to be on top, so we're going to make a forward knot. So making our 4, pulling the black through and pull it up, and then a backward knot. So the dark string again, black over orange, tuck it through, doing that left-handed. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, and pull it up. So again, we're still black, orange, black, orange. And just keep going. Forward knot. And a backward knot. Again, black, orange. Next set of 2. Forward knot. Backward knot. Hands are in camera. Move on to the next 2. Make our forward knot. And the backward knot. And the last two, and again our dark color was the one that was on top, so forward knot, and backward knot. Green still to the outside. Go down to our next row. Again, these outer strings on even rows are going to be left out. We're not going to work with them. So we'll deal with then the first two strings. And we have black on top. And so we're going to do a backward knot because this one's going to be on top. So then we go backwards. And then we go forwards. So again, we're keeping our black orange. Alright, for the next two, orange is going to be on top, so we're going to do a forward knot. And then a backward knot. The next two strings. Again, our orange is going to be on top, so we're going to do a forward knot. And then a backward knot. Next two, black is going to be on top, so we'll do the backward knot. And a forward knot. And black will be on top again, so backward knot. And a forward knot. Outer strings come back in. Row 3. Black is on top, so forward knot. Backward knot. Next two, orange is on top. So we do a backward knot. Forward knot. Orange is on top again, so backward knot. Forward knot. And orange is on top again. Forward knot. Or sorry, backward. Yeah, backward knot. And now a forward knot. And we want black on top.
We're doing a forward knot. And a backward knot. And black on top again. So forward knot. And backward knot. Row 4, it's an even row, so we're going to take our outer strings out again. We want orange on top, so we're doing a forward knot. And a backward knot. Black on top, so backward knot. Forward knot. Orange on top. Forward knot. Backward knot. Orange on top. Forward knot. Backward knot. And black on top, so backward knot. Forward knot. Bring our outer strings back in. Row 5. Black on top. So forward knot. Backward knot. Black on top. Forward knot. Backward knot. Orange on top. Backward knot. Forward knot. Orange on top, backward knot. Forward knot. Alright, silly me. I wasn't paying attention to my pattern and I was just going for it. But in row 5, our outer 2 strings, even though the black was on top, they were actually supposed to be forward knots. Was where I'm like, my green's not supposed to be to the outside. So that's why you use your pin. Hopefully that's close enough, but if you get in there and just kind of go where your last knot was, and we're just going to try to loosen it up. So even if you make your knots kind of tight, just getting in there with a pin. You can loosen up your knot. There you go. And be able to take that knot out. And we made 2 of those, I think. So we should have to take out the other one also. Hopefully my hand's not in the way and you can see that. Okay, going back to row 5, we have our second to last strings. Black is on top, but we're actually just going to do 2 forward knots. And that's going to end up putting the 2 orange strings together. And then our last 2 strings, same, we're going to do 2 forward knots. So black on top. It's also going to put black to the outside and then green over one. Row 6, even row, 2 outermost strings go out. And we're going to have orange on top, and we will do a forward and then backward knot. Black on top, backward, and forward, and the next 2, black on top, backward, forward, the 2 oranges, we're going to do 2 forward knots. And the black and the green, 2 forward knots. Row 7, bring our outermost back in. And I'm going to have black on top. So forward. And backward. Black on top. Forward. Backward. Orange on top. So backward. And forward. Orange on top. Backward. forward, green on top, backward, and forward, and then 2 forward knots. Before row 8, I'm just going to move my tape down, try to get it as close to the strings that I'm using as possible. Again, we are on an even row, so 2 outer strings out. So for the next 2 strings, we're going to have orange on top. So forward knot, backward knot, black on top, backward knot, forward knot, black on top again, backward knot, forward knot, and the oranges, we're going to do 2 forward knots. And green on top, so again 2 forward knots. Row 9, outer strings come back in, black is on top, forward knot, backward knot, black on top, forward knot, backward knot, orange on top, backward knot, forward knot, orange on top, backward knot, forward knot, black on top, backward knot, forward knot, green on top, forward knot, backward knot. Row 10, even row, outer strings come out, Orange on top, forward knot, backward knot, black on top, backward knot, forward knot, orange on top, forward knot, backward knot, orange on top, forward knot, backward knot. Green on top, backward knot, forward knot. Row 11, strings come back in, black on top, forward knot, backward knot, orange on top, backward knot, forward knot, orange on top, so backward knot, forward knot, orange on top, backward knot, forward knot. Black on top, and do 2 backward knots. And green on top, so forward knot, and backward knot. Row 12, even row, outside strings go out, so black on top, so we do backward knot, forward knot, orange on top, forward knot, backward knot, orange on top, forward knot, backward knot, black on top, backward knot, forward knot, and green on top, backward knot, and forward knot. 15. Outer strings come back in. Black on top. So forward knot. And backward knot. Black on top. Forward knot. Backward knot. Black on top. Forward knot. Backward knot. Black on top. Forward knot. Backward knot. Black on top. So forward knot. Backward knot. Black on top, 2 backwards knots. And last row, 14. So outer strings are out. Black on top. So backward knot. Forward knot. Black on top. Backward knot. Forward knot. Black on top. Backward knot. Forward knot. Black on top. Backward knot. Forward knot. And black on top. Backward knot. And forward knot. All right, that is it. So there you go. Cute little pumpkin. You can see his eyes in there and his mouth. And now you just keep repeating for however many little pumpkins you want that'll fit around your wrist. Okay, you want your bracelet to be around the 5-inch mark. That's a good size for at least an adult wrist, so you can adjust that for bigger or smaller sizes what you need. And obviously I wanted a full pumpkin in there, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, it looks like 5 pumpkins in there. So at the end, what I do is I braid off the ending strings, so we'll divide them in half. There were 12 strings, so 2, 4, 6. 2, 4, 6. The other thing you may have noticed as you were doing your bracelet is you're going to have some shorter strings. Some of these are way short and some of these are still pretty long. And that's normal. That's the way it's supposed to go. So I make the 2 strings and then we just braid. I take 2 of them at a time and we'll braid them off together and make 2 straight areas so that we can then tie it through the loop. going to braid these together. So I separated them off into 2 strands each. And you just pretty much go over under. Once that's done, we cut off the extra threads on the bottom after the knot. There's your bracelet. Looks like I got a couple looser knots in there. I think I missed an eyeball. Alright, well, let's see if we can tie it on. This is usually easier with having another person than trying to do it by yourself. So it's best if you tie 2 knots. I'm just going to do one right now to show you. There it is. And depending on how tight you tie that knot, it will depend, even with a double knot in there, so it won't fall off obviously. But then it still should be loose enough you can take it off, so you can change them up for the different seasons. Here's another one I made in purple and white. You see white pumpkins out there sometimes, so that was my practice one. Not too bad, but you can't really tell as much of the pumpkins unless you know what you're looking for. Whereas in the orange and black, it looks like pumpkins.
All right, there you go. There's our cute little bracelet. As I stand here awkwardly. Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you made the bracelet along with me, or that you will. Let me know down in the comments below if you do. I'd like to know. Or you can even attach pictures on my Twitter or Instagram account, which are also linked below. And I will link the videos below for the chevron and the diagonal bracelet below also. So, what else are you doing for Halloween? You gonna have a good time? Do you celebrate Halloween? We usually have trick-or-treating, but this year I don't think that's going to happen. I'm pretty sure they've said no, which is kind of sad. That's a good time. Although where I live, we don't have too many kids that come anyways, and my kids are grown. But I still like seeing the trick-or-treaters and handing out the candy. Anyways, I hope you guys are having a good day, so keep it positive and make it a great day. Bye-bye! Testing, testing, I'm just suggesting you and I might not be the best thing. Song by Mariana's Trench. Good man. Song is Haven't Had Enough. Take 542.